Welcome, crypto fam, to number one daily Bitcoin pod. I'll be breaking the latest Bitcoin technical analysis down for you. I want to give a special happy anniversary to Max and Stacy. Today celebrates their 22nd year together, which is a phenomenal thing. And obviously, it's my favorite power couple here in Bitcoin, responsible for orange pilling millions of people. And I owe them a lot. So shout out Max and Stacy. Also, check this out. 992,000 addresses have more than one Bitcoin. Shout out my whole coiners. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin retail. ETF outflows mount to 494 million. I'll be sharing the latest here, as well as today is the big one, reciprocal tariffs, according to President Trump, as well as Wyoming Highway Patrol Union moles adding the biddy to the balance sheet. I'll be breaking down this report, as well as Texas lawmakers refile their Bitcoin reserve bill, adding room for more crypto. We'll also be discussing U.S. states lead in the strategic Bitcoin reserve creation, but will Trump deliver on his Bitcoin promise? We'll also be discussing the United States of America is turning orange. Thus far, 29 states now have officially proposed Bitcoin-related bills. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes. Go ahead, subscribe, hit that bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 1904. I'm your host, JV. It's February 13th, 2025. And there's a lot happening in the market. So let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. Pulling up Coin 360. Unfortunately, Biddy back in the red, along with the majority of the market. Yesterday, the bulk of the market was in the green. Only a few in the green as far as the top coins concerned: Solana, Cardano, and XRP. Checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The current crypto market cap is sitting at 3.17 trillion, with the Bitcoin market cap just above 1.9 trillion dollars. And we have 111 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Happy 11/11. Definitely a good omen there. And the Bitcoin dominance is a flat 60% even, with Ether dominance at a 10.1%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. Trump coin leading the pack, up 9%, followed by Caspa up 7%, followed by Jito up 6.5%. Let me know which alts, if any, you're bullish on for the bull. Holla at your boy. And checking out Crypto Bubbles, we get that visual perspective on the day. As you can see on your screen, majority of the market correcting, and in the red, I'd say maybe 75 to 25 red over green. And zooming out for the monthly to get a broader perspective, not looking so pretty. Like 90% of the market wreck city, virtually 10% in the green. And checking out Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're dead in the middle of little did we know that we riddles the middleman who didn't do diddly. Rest in peace, big pun. And yeah, we're dead in the middle today with a 50 neutral. Yesterday a 46, last week a 49, and last month a 63 in greed. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have how many blocks yet to go into the halving? 166,399. We get a TikTok next block every 10 minutes. We're on block height 883,601. You can currently exchange 1,041 sats for one US monopoly dollar. So stack the sats, put down the gats, pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. But anyways, let's continue, shall we? Next story of the day, and let's dive into a little TA, aka astrology for the broskies. We'll also be pulling up some of the live charts. Bitcoin battles the hot US PPI as trader warns of position to go lower. Oh no, end of the world. I'm going to sell all my Bitcoin. Not. Bitcoin battles fresh U.S. inflation pressures on February 13th for the Wall Street opening for the macroeconomic data, disappointing the bulls. Oh no. The 1 hour chart, it just means a great buying opportunity. I mean, I don't mind if we go down. We can dump 20 grand. I'll still be smiling doing this podcast as if Bitcoin was already 10 million, because I project into the future as if I was Edgar Casey, accessing the Akashic records and astral traveling just to channel Satoshi. I'm all for the future. And of course, the present. We can't neglect that. But many of you guys are always living in the past. It's like, Bitcoin has never done that before. I mean, we've never gotten past 109. So how dare you claim to have a 1.1 million price prediction, JV? Well, stay tuned. The CPI figures from the day prior and the PPI beat the expectations, further denting the hopes for financial policy easing. The PPI came in 0.4 and 3.5% month on month and year on year, respectively higher anticipated than the 0.3, 3.2. As if these numbers really matter, right? Markets already primed for undesirable results, maintain low odds of the Fed lowering the interest rates for the first half of the year. Go Fed! Not. The late estimate, I mean, the money printer is going to go burr and Bitcoin's going to soar regardless. So all this is kind of just like, who really cares? But the Fed Watch tool saw 2.5% and 0.25% rate cut for the next meeting in March. I mean, so that's where the odds are. And reacting, we had Scoo share, likely the same buyer from earlier, has bought into the sell pressure. Market is net position for lower. So if the market is to move up here, we want to see supportive flows. Now, Scoo also says the sell volume longs are still puking under the price pressure like JV puking on the boat. Insider joke there. And data from CoinGlass showed strengthening buyer liquidity around 95 to 97, now forming the nearest band of resistance. Patience for the high probability setups during the choppity chop. And Fed Chairman Jay Powell noted we're hawkish for the stance of the economy, with Trump conversely demanding that interest rates come down. Quoting the Telegram channel from CPI print. Looking at the bigger picture, the market is likely waiting for the Trump reaction. We will continue to argue that the Fed should cut the rates further the year, or we'll give them the leeway to remain data dependent with the soft landing legacy at stake, as we expect the Fed Chairman Jay Powell to remain conservative and maintain his stance of being data dependent upon moving upon the rate cuts. But you let me know your thoughts before we pull up some of the live charts. And in the breaking news, only 992,297 addresses have more than one Bitcoin. So if you're a whole coiner, God bless you. Well done. I mean, if I was to speculate, if there's only 992,000 addresses that hold one or more coin, I like to believe that the average person has like 5 addresses. I may be wrong. I may be right. I'm speculating. But that leads me to believe there's probably only maybe 200,000 people in the entire world that are considered whole coiners. Now, are you one of them? Let me know. If so, congratulations. Well done. And if you're not there yet, all is good in the hood. You can get there. Believe in yourself and know it's possible. And with Satoshi, all things are possible. And also in breaking news, this Bitcoin power couple transformed millions of lives, including my own. Thank you, Max and Stacy, for your service to humanity. Bitcoin passion for individual sovereignty and for your relentless optimism. 1111 equals a 22. So salute to another 22 years together, and to the Bitcoin price reaching at 2.2 million target, which is an 1111 1.1 mil plus a 1.1 mil. And if you don't know, that's Max and Stacy's anniversary. Check them out. 22 years of unconditional love. And I love that cap that says, fuck you, money. Brilliant. Shout out to the high priest. Show him some anniversary love, will ya? And as he put here, going to repost this on our 22nd meet anniversary. On February 13th, 2003, I walked into a cafe in France and fell in love with this girl wearing the brown corduroy pants. I mean, the brown corduroy pants will do it to any man. But shout out to Max and Stacy. They're phenomenal. And as you know, my favorite in Bitcoin. And I owe them so much. So respect. And with that being shared, let's pull up some of the live charts for a little chart action Jackson satisfaction for the broskies. And again, welcome everyone joining the stream. Already 1,000 people here. We're not even done with the astrology yet. Respect. But you should be able to see on your screen right about now. Live chart action Jackson. This is the 1 minute chart. We got to zoom the hell in here because zoom out a little bit. Let's start. I usually start at the 1 hour and we work our way backwards. 1 hour chart, very bullish blue target sitting at just shy of 106. And then we have a red target sitting just shy of 104. And zooming out from the 1 hour, we'll check out the 4 hour. And yes, it is caffeinated, JV. And you can thank your boy Crypto Surge. I had a big fat glass of the Cuban coffee from my man. But as you can see here, we do have a orange target on the 4 hour sitting pretty at 130 G's, no diddy. And we also have the red target sitting fantastical at 103,943. And zooming out from here, we'll check out the 1 day. And the survey said, yesterday, didn't we correct to 94 and then we jumped right back above 97 by the time I went live? Right now, we're just above 96. less than 4,000 away from 100K. Rising wedgie formation sensation. And zooming out from the 1 day. Let me know if you like my astrology today. And we have the cup and handle sexy target sitting in the pinkish red, sitting at 124. Por favor. And zooming out from the weekly, we'll check out the monthly. The monthly says, we're going up forever, Laura. And as you can see, thus far, February has been a little bearish, but historically it's bullish, and we're not even halfway through the month. So let me know where you feel the Bitcoin price action will likely take us next. Next story of the day. Here we go. Let's discuss some of the ETF flows, which have been a little subpar recently. Bitcoin retail ETF outflows mount to 494 million. That's right. Retail investors are increasingly liquidating their Bitcoin holdings amid the growing institutional outflows and geopolitical tensions worldwide. The number of the BTC addresses with a non-zero balance sunk to 52 milli, which marks an over 5-month low, last seen in September of 2024. So maybe the bottom is in. And in comparison, the Bitcoin network boasted over 52 million such wallets Jan 20th. That was inauguration day when we hit the all-time high, when the Bitcoin price reached 109.3. Yes. And however, most of the selling pressure stemmed from the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs. The Bitcoin ETFs recorded over 251 million worth of the cumulative net outflows February 12th, marking the third consecutive day of the negative outflows amounting to over 494 million. And I remember 1 year ago, February 12th of 2024, we recaptured 50 Gs. I remember as if it was yesterday, family. However, some of the analysts believe the crypto market is setting up for the reversal based on the growing accumulation amongst the Bitcoin hodlers, also known as the whales. Large Bitcoin hodlers accumulated over 39,000 of the bitty, worth more than 3.79 of the billion. And cumulative net flows on a day of February 5th with the Bitcoin traded at 97.6. Maybe I'm going a little too fast. Blame Surge for the caffeinated JV version today. The strong accumulation suggests the Bitcoin bottom may be near, according to Juan Pellicer, senior research analyst over at Into the Block. Quoting him here. Similar to the pattern observed in September, it suggests that these large players might be seeing the value of the current price level. This could indicate that the market is nearing a bottom, and the capitulation phase might be ending just blaze. However, the Bitcoin upside will be limited in the near term until it performs a decisive break above the psychological $100,000 level, which can happen at any time. It feels like it's happened 10,000 times since we first captured it in the first place. But you let me know your thoughts. Anyways, next story of the day. Let's discuss these tariffs. Headline reads, today is the big one, reciprocal tariffs. And I saw like Putin and Trump made some deal earlier today, but here's what this article says. U.S. President Trump said he would announce a decision regarding reciprocal tariffs. That was today. I assume that just happened. Now, 3 great weeks, perhaps the best ever, but today is the big one, reciprocal tariffs, make America great again. That's what Trump wrote on Truth Social. Previous news of the import tariffs and the looming trade war sent crypto and the stock markets plummeting as countries like Canada, Mexico, and China considered counter tariffs. As a response, market analysts continue to debate the effects of President Trump's trade tariffs on the crypto markets, Bitcoin, and the broader U.S. economy. And you can see the tweet officially from Trump right there. Tariffs have the potential to drive consumer prices higher, increase the inflation, and create volatility in financial markets. February 12th, the CPI data came in at 0.1% higher than expected, with inflation hitting 3%. That's the imaginary percentage they try to persuade us it is. We all know inflation's closer to like 20% ballpark, just saying. They definitely don't got inflation under control, and every time they say it's under control, they're lying to you. But anyways, Coin Bureau CEO and market analyst Nick Puckrin shared on X that the PPI is the indicator of the potential price increase in anticipation of the trade tariff. The PPI measures the cost of the raw materials and the other product businesses used to manufacture consumer products. He also wrote that the market expects the PPI to rise 0.3% in advance of a tariff announcement from President Trump. Bitwise analyst Jeff Park took a more long-term view and said that a trade war could send the bitty price soaring to new heights, all-time highs in play, price discovery. You already know. Park argued that the end goal of the tariffs would be to weaken the U.S. dollar and the global financial market, something that previously occurred under the Plaza Accord in 1985. The Plaza Accord, let me know if you've ever heard of that, was an agreement between the U.S., Japan, West Germany, France, and the U.K. to artificially weaken the U.S. dollar, making U.S. exports more attractive to the international trade. The analyst added that the tariffs would affect all economies, but would be disproportionately felt by residents living outside the U.S. and lead to greater inflation. Oh boy. This inflation would in turn cause the residents of those countries to seek alternative store value assets, such as the pretty little bitty going up forever, Laura. And if you don't know, now you know, broskies. Next story of the day. Let's discuss Wyoming, then we'll discuss Texas after the flash freeze, of course. And then we'll discuss the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, as well as 29 states have officially proposed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill from a state level. And we'll discuss all that, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. But our next story, Wyoming Highway Patrol Union. Moles adding the biddy to the balance sheet. Here's the latest report. The Wyoming Highway Patrol Association, a nonprofit organization supporting the troopers, dispatchers, and civilian support staff of the Highway Patrol, is reportedly exploring the adoption of the biddy, including added it to the balance sheet. The plan is in partnership with Bitcoin education platform Proof of Workforce's Get Off of Zero initiative to help the labor unions, pension funds, and others learn about the biddy and the benefits. Proof of Workforce founder Don Bay said February 12th in the statement, a portion of those biddy funds would potentially be held in self-custody. That's how you do it. That's a blackjack. Bay explained that Bitcoin is a reliable, stable, long-term tool for the workers and wage earners as the unpredictable fiat-based monetary system continues to expand and change. Should it go ahead, this may be the first time a law enforcement association of the United States has adopted Bitcoin. Let's freaking go. And as you can see here, they won't be the last. The plan received full support from the Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis, shout out Lummis, who introduced the Bitcoin Reserve Bill at the federal level last year. This is so cool, she said. The goal with this stuff is to help the Americans access tools to realize and protect the full value of their effort, blood, and their sweat and tears. Love to see Wyoming citizens who protect us protected by the biddy. That freedom, focus, innovation. Now, the vice president of that association, his name is Austin Bluemill, didn't shed much detail on the initiative other than it is excited to explore Bitcoin as a network and asset to evaluate the ways it can further support the organization and the members. Wyoming introduced a strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill January 17th and would invest up to 3% of the state funds into the biddy. And if the total market value of the biddy investment surpassed the 3% limit, the state treasurer is not permitted to sell or reduce the size of the biddy allocation to comply with the rule. Meanwhile, Arizona, Illinois, Kentucky, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Mexico, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, and Utah are amongst the other states that have introduced the bill for the Bitcoin Reserve. And we'll get deeper into that later in the stream as our feature story of the day. 29 states now, officially. Now, Utah made the most regulatory progress, being the only state to have a Bitcoin Reserve Bill passed through the House. Utah, please stand up. Meanwhile, the Satoshi Action Fund CEO Dennis Porter also tipped Utah to be the first state to adopt the Biddy Reserve, citing the state's shorter legislative window calendar and political momentum. Mormon country for the win. Headline reads, Texas lawmakers refile their Bitcoin Reserve Bill, adding more room for more crypto. That's right. Texas lawmakers have refiled their strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill under a slightly different name, opening the door to investments in other qualifying cryptos. Oh boy, I hope it's not Melania coin. But anyways, quoting them here, SB 21 would make our state the first to establish a strategic Bitcoin Reserve and drive innovation, growth, and financial freedom. He also thanked Lieutenant Governor Dan. Lieutenant Dan. That reminds me of Forrest Gump. Lieutenant Dan. Jedi. Anyways, designating his bill to establish the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve as one of the Senate's top 40 priority bills. Quoting him here, I've been told by Lieutenant Governor's office multiple times that this bill is a major priority. Preach. SB 21 differs slightly from SB 778, a similar strategic Bitcoin Reserve bill for the Republican politician announced in mid-January. The earlier legislation only permitted the state to buy and hold Bitcoin as a strategic asset, preventing its use for the other state operations unless explicitly authorized. Now, Schwartner refiled the legislation for the purpose of investing in the crypto and the investment authority of the comptroller of the public accounts over the reserve for the certain other state funds, February 12th. The bill establishes the reserve as an investment vehicle, allowing the state to actively buy, sell, and manage the crypto assets for financial security and economic resilience. It also permits investments in other digital assets, but stipulates they must have a market cap of at least $500 billion for the past 12 months, and currently only Bitcoin falls in that category. Hey now. SB 21 also gives more control to financial experts, while SB 778 places control in the hands of the state legislators and has stricter security oversight and funding rules. Meanwhile, Riot Platform's Vice President of Research, Pierre Rochard, commented that the new legislation text for Texas SBR is very bullish before adding it removes the annual buying limit of $500 million. That means they can buy a lot more. The legislation can appropriate as much as it wants to save Bitcoin. Now we're talking. There are currently 19. Well, we're going to get deeper into that. There's actually now like 29 states. And I'll give you the update with the latest and the greatest as we continue to watch the pretty little bitty do its thing. Now for our feature story of the day. U.S. states lead in the strategic Bitcoin reserve creation. The million-dollar question becomes, will Trump deliver on his Bitcoin promise? And also in headlines, check this out. The United States of America is turning orange. So far, 29 states have officially proposed Bitcoin-related bills. So you already know. And as shared here also, North Carolina to buy up to $2.6 billion in Bitcoin if the bill is passed. Nobody is bullish enough. It's going up forever, Laura. So yeah, let's break this down and let me know. Where do you think the Bitcoin adoption will come from first, from the state level or from the national level? I think more common sense tells me at a state level, as there's less barriers and obstacles to jump. But nonetheless, I hope it happens in both levels. But here's the latest. Nearly a third of the U.S. states are venturing into the financial frontier, once considered to be completely unthinkable, which is creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Bitcoin for the enemies. Bitcoin for the Treasury. Bitcoin for the Kennedys. Send it. And while the U.S. President Trump's vision for national digital asset stockpiles is developing, U.S. states are not waiting around, nor should they. Inspired by the success of other countries like El Salvador, shout out Bukele, the unprecedented support of Trump has shown for the industry they are charging ahead with their own bold initiatives. 16 states now considering Bitcoin as part of their investment strategies with legislation to allow public funds to be allocated to such digital assets. Already under discussion. States like Arizona, Utah, where the bill has already passed, committee approval, a vote in the chamber is right up their alley, bringing the idea of a Bitcoin reserve even closer to becoming a reality rather than just a distant Final Fantasy VII. How many of you guys get that one? Let me know. The case for countries and states embracing the strategic Bitcoin is becoming more tangible as momentum builds in the U.S. following Trump's inauguration as the new president, aka our new POTUS. In his first address to the sector February 4th, we had David Sachs exploring the potential Bitcoin reserve, and he said, would be one of the first things we are going to look at. Now that's a blackjack. In the early days, President Trump signed an executive order creating a task force to shape the U.S. digital asset policies, fueling optimism for the widespread crypto adoption. And also he said he would fire Gary Gensler, in which he did officially resign and got replaced with the Nipinator. The group has 6 months to deliver the roadmap, which could define the sector regulations and digital asset investment guidelines, along with a potential groundbreaking proposal like a national Bitcoin reserve. So the U.S. states are getting quite serious about Bitcoin. I mean, this map speaks volumes. You can see virtually the entire country is becoming Bitcoin country. So only a matter of time. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know how they started like becoming more open to, I like to refer to it as cannabis. I don't like the propaganda term marijuana. So I refer to it as cannabis. But remember, like on a national level, it's like always illegal nationally, but then the states started adopting it and making it recreational or medicinal, kind of similar like now with Bitcoin. Like eventually every single state's just going to embrace it and it will become a strategic reserve asset. It'll be on the Treasury. It'll be in the sovereign wealth fund, the pension funds, some way, some form. It'll be adopted. However, from a national level, it may take a little bit more time. Trump needs to move on it. They claim they're investigating and looking into it. But I mean, the longer you wait, the more you're going to get left behind. And to me, that's just some common sense. But you let me know your thoughts. Reflecting on the excitement of many Bitcoin advocates, Eric Trump shared the following on February 5th. Feels like a great time to enter the Bitcoin. Reminds me of Enter the Dragon. Rest in peace, Bruce Lee. And advocates for the strategic Bitcoin reserve argue that such an investment could serve as a powerful hedge against inflation, of course, and currency devaluation. While the central banks can print fiat currencies at will, Bitcoin's fixed supply could help protect the country's wealth from the unusual risks associated with currency depreciation. And after a strong surge, the price of the Bitty and other cryptos reversed course in the early weeks after the Trump administration. Initial enthusiasm gradually gave way to really be substantial work remaining before any significant progress could be made. Quoting them here, we have reached a point where there needs to be some actual government purchases, likely led by the Treasury, for the market to be satisfied. They also say some corporations have started building their own reserves. But I have a hard time seeing markets move higher unless some sort of national or state level activity actually begins. And so the shift in the lawmakers' mindsets continue and dive in a little deeper. I mean, this is an article. The only difference is we now have 29 states officially proposing a Bitcoin-related bill, and this could ignite a $23 billion Bitcoin buying frenzy, according to the head of over at Vaneck, one of the largest digital asset management firms in the world. That's right. Lawmakers now across 29 states introduced bills aimed at establishing the BTC of a digital reserve and resulting significant state-level investments. A shout out Matthew Siegel over there at Vaneck. He shared, "We analyzed the 20 state-level Bitcoin reserve bills. If enacted, they would drive $23 billion in buying, or 247,000 of the BTC, and that doesn't even include the 1 million proposal from Cynthia Lummis for the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the nation we call the United States of America. This sum is independent of any pension fund allocations likely to rise the legislators to move forward." So ultimately, he's saying this is a bear scenario. These bills are in Oklahoma, Massachusetts, Wyoming, Ohio, Texas, Utah, North Dakota, Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Maryland, New Mexico, South Dakota, Montana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, proposing various levels of the Bitcoin allocations from the general funds, stabilize the reserves in the state treasurer's accounts. That's a blackjack, baby. Some states are considering significant investments, with Arizona proposing an estimate of $8.7 billion and Florida planning a $3 billion allocation. Missouri also introduced a bill that could allocate $1.7 billion into the BTC. However, not all states have disclosed the specific funding amounts, making it difficult to gauge the total market impact. Siegel explained, for instance, North Dakota had an unspecified proposal, while other states like Pennsylvania have already seen their bills fail. Now, despite those uncertainties, Vaneck, head of digital assets, noted the following: "The $23 billion number is potentially conservative, given the lack of details," and I agree with that one. "The push for the state-level Bitcoin reserve signals a growing acceptance of digital assets in the government, financial planning. While these proposals are still in the legislative process, their passage could introduce billions of dollars into the BTC market. If the pension funds eventually join the initiative, the total investments could increase beyond the current estimates." And there you go. And if you don't know, now you know. Billions of dollars per state. We can get to 50, 100 billion. There's no telling how high the pretty little BTC may climb. Your guess is as good as mine. So let me know, fam, and welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. We got 1,900 people here live and in the flesh. It's the top of the hour. I'm going to stick around for another hour. Let's see if we can flip green. We're only 700 away. If we can flip green, we may flip this mofo into a pump watch. Anything is possible with the BTC. Yes, Missouri, I knew my state wasn't totally retarded. Amen to that. Ain't no retards there. That's a fact, Jack. Idaho in black, what the frick? Idaho thinks they do not need the BTC with all the money the Californians are bringing. Must be some forces of evil behind there, you know. I mean, we're still fighting the good fight. Let's keep in mind. Here's one of my favorite Max Kaiser quotes. "Money existed before the state. Bitcoin separates money from the state. Bitcoin kills, unalives the state." So you got to keep that in mind. The Achilles heels of the central banking cartel and the criminals that rule the world is Bitcoin. And that's a fact, Jack. Warpaint just gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Congratulations to the Dusty Hunt. Congratulations to the Mercy Tube. To Tank, to Shiza Su. Reminds me of Lao Tzu. Amsterdam, online learning in the exponential network just gifted from the Warpaint. Johnny Crypto, you've all been hooked up with a MicroStrategy membership of the channel. This goes out to you, Warpaint, and congrats all the new members of this channel. I appreciate y'all. Respect. Mega BTC pump. They're not talking about the towns or the cities. They've already adopted it, like my town. They have 50% of the pension fund in the Bitcoin. Right on, precisely, into the Bitcoin exchange-traded products. Thank you for the clarification there, Oracle.